At last, Amazon and Games Workshop have finally concluded a deal for the movie and series adaptations of Warhammer 40k with Henry Cavill. In December 2023, Games Workshop announced that the company would be working with Amazon over a 12-month period until December 2024 to come to an agreement on creative guidelines for the film and TV adaptations. And indeed, they kept their word. Games Workshop has now announced that Warhammer 40k will definitely be made into a movie and TV series. The order in which the stories will be told has also been decided. According to Games Workshop, the first film adaptation with the title Project 1 is about to begin the actual development phase, but the script still has to be written. It'll take a few more years, however, before we get to see it on the big screen or television. Warhammer 40k superfan Henry Cavill will star in all productions and serve as an executive producer. Cavill celebrated this news with a statement on his Instagram profile. Quote, "Together, we've been sifting through the plethora of incredible characters and poring over old tomes and texts. Our combined efforts have led us to a fantastic place to start our universe. We're very excited." Nobody would have expected this. After Robert Downey Jr., the next MCU veteran is now joining the cast of Avengers Doomsday. As reported by The Wrap, the talk is of Captain America Chris Evans. How the actor will be involved in Avengers Doomsday is still a secret. After all, he did make his farewell appearance as Steve Rogers in Avengers Endgame and passed on his shield to Anthony Mackie. But as we know, anything is possible in the multiverse. A return as a variant of Steve Rogers would be entirely conceivable. Avengers Doomsday could be a veritable treat for comic fans. The heroes confirmed so far include the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts. And we'll also get to see Doctor Strange and Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man again. The Avengers team will once again be led by Captain America, this time in the form of Sam Wilson. Little is yet known about the plot. However, early indications suggest that Doctor Doom is trying to create the battle world. At the end of the multiverse saga in Avengers Secret Wars, there will be a huge event in which the Avengers have to face off against the X-Men. Avengers Doomsday will be released on May 1st, 2026, and will once again be directed by the Russo brothers. Even at the age of 62, Tom Cruise is still one of the biggest action stars of our time, and now Cruise is venturing into the horror genre with Deeper. In an interview with Showbiz 411, director Doug Liman, who already worked with Tom Cruise on Edge of Tomorrow and American Made, revealed that his next project will indeed be a scary movie. Rumors were already circulating in August 2024 that Cruise and Liman could be working on a long-abandoned project, Deeper. The supernatural thriller was once described as a mixture of Gravity and The Martian. In the early stages of development, prominent names such as Idris Elba, Bradley Cooper, and Gal Gadot were earmarked for the cast. The original script was written by Chronicle author Max Landis, who has since fallen out of favor in Hollywood due to allegations of sexual abuse. It's still unclear whether the script has been revised for the new adaptation. The original plot revolved around a former astronaut who had been banned from space missions after misconduct. However, a research trip into the deep sea offers him one last chance at rehabilitation. The protagonist is to set off for a newly discovered ocean trench, the deepest point on Earth. But the mission turns into a psychological nightmare when the astronaut encounters a mysterious and terrifying force. There's no launch date yet. But anyway, there is some good news for Tom Cruise fans. The grand finale, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, awaits us on May 23rd, 2025. The DCU under James Gunn is growing and growing. Following the success of the HBO series The Penguin, another Batman villain is now on the agenda. A Clayface movie is in the making. First introduced in 1940, Clayface has undergone numerous transformations since then. Originally, he was an over-the-hill actor driven to crime. Later in the 1960s, the character was given his iconic shape-shifting ability. As a result, he's able to take on any persona or form. Clayface made his mark in numerous Batman adaptations. His portrayals by Ron Perlman in Batman the Animated Series and Alan Tudyk in the animated Harley Quinn series were particularly defining. According to Deadline, Mike Flanagan will pen the screenplay. This suggests that the Clayface film will be more of a horror movie, which fits in with Flanagan's previous works such as Dr. Sleep and The Haunting of Hill House. The decision to make a Clayface film once again emphasizes DC's strategy of telling as many different stories as possible in its universe. James Gunn recently stressed that the possibilities are limitless. Quote, "We can make complete family fare. We can make something that's for general audiences like Superman. We can make something that's violent and sexual like this. The movie is being produced by the Batman director Matt Reeves, and nothing is known about the cast or the director yet. However, filming is scheduled to start in early 2025. From chef to galactic criminal, the Bear star Jeremy Allen White will play the son of Jabba the Hutt in The Mandalorian Grogu. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actor will provide the voice of the character Rada. Rada made his debut in the 2008 animated film Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and also appeared in several episodes of the series of the same name. At the same time, he was very young and was overshadowed by his infamous father Jabba. Rada is now older and possibly more corrupt. That would make perfect sense after all. The Mandalorian Grogu is set many years after the events of Clone Wars. At present, not much is known about the plot of The Mandalorian Grogu. However, we assume that the end of the third season will be used as the starting point for the movie. The Mandalorian, played by Pedro Pascal, will more or less officially ensure order on the outer rim of the galaxy with Grogu on behalf of the New Republic. In addition to Pascal and Jeremy Allen White, we'll also get to see Sigourney Weaver in a hitherto unknown role. The movie, directed by Jon Favreau, will be released in cinemas on May 22, 2026. Moana 2 got off to a phenomenal start in cinemas. Although Moana 2 only opened in cinemas just under a week ago, it's already earned a whopping $390 million worldwide. So naturally, a sequel will follow, which according to industry insider Daniel RPK, is already in the making. However, no further details are known, but in any case, it'll probably be quite a while before Moana 3 will be released in cinemas. After all, it took Disney 8 years to produce a second part. Moana 2 took in an impressive $225 million in the first 5 days after its release in the US. The film even left the previous frontrunner, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which brought in $204 million, behind. Even more remarkable was the performance on the Thanksgiving opening weekend, with total takings of $94 million in the US alone. Moana 2 surpassed the previous record holder Frozen from 2014. Alan Bergman, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, summed it up aptly. Quote, "Moana 2 has far surpassed our high expectations this weekend and is a testament to the phenomenon that Moana has become. Since the release of the first Moana film in 2016, the franchise has become a cultural phenomenon. The original movie, voiced by voice actors Auli'i Carvalho as Moana and Dwayne Johnson as Maui, has been one of the most streamed films on Disney Plus for years. In 2023 alone, it surpassed the 1 billion streaming hours mark and was the most streamed film on all platforms in the USA. We can therefore look forward to seeing what records the sequel will set in the upcoming weeks. Speaking of which, the live-action adaptation of Moana also awaits us in 2026. Again with Dwayne Johnson in the role of Maui. It's now official. Disney is working on a live-action adaptation of its animated hit, Tangled. Deadline reports that Michael Gracey is in talks to direct the film. He's already directed a number of musicals, including The Greatest Showman and Robbie Williams' biopic, Better Man. The upcoming live-action version of Tangled is expected to be based heavily on the original, though the specific plot details are still under wraps. Jennifer Caton Robinson will be writing the script again, and we don't have any information on the cast yet. Last August, there were rumors that Florence Pugh might play Rapunzel, but we don't know if she's interested. And we also don't know when the film will be released. Tangled marked the start of a new era of Disney princesses in 2010 and was a box office hit with worldwide box office takings of almost $600 million. But as with any remake, many fans will be asking, is it really necessary? The production of Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is in full swing, and according to the industry magazine Variety, producer Jerry Bruckheimer is currently working on several script versions, one of which explicitly includes the return of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. This leaves the possibility that Johnny Depp, should he and Disney reconcile, could slip back into the role of the eccentric pirate after all. Bruckheimer is largely behind the success of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. He has emphasized several times in the past that he would like to have Johnny Depp back on board. Whether Depp himself would even be interested in returning remains to be seen. According to reports, the actor is disappointed with Disney's behavior during his public disputes with Amber Heard. The company did not support him during the court cases that temporarily rocked his career, which apparently led to a deep estrangement. Now, unfortunately, we will have to do without a return of Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann. In an interview with The Times, The actress reported that she did not want to invest the time that such a role entails due to her children. Furthermore, her fame through the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is also said to have led to her facing public hostility. The future of Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is therefore still on some shaky ground. One way or another, filming is scheduled to start at the end of 2025, but many fans are already saying, without Johnny Depp, without me. It's over. Sony's Spider-Man universe is officially a thing of the past. Kraven the Hunter is the last movie. After several flops, this marks the end of Sony's attempt to establish its own cinematic universe, at least for the time being. Originally, the SSU was to be developed as a competitor to the MCU, with movies such as Venom, Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter. While the Venom films were relatively successful, Morbius and Madam Web both proved unsuccessful at the box office and with critics. Rumors have therefore been spreading for months that Sony might give up on the concept. And now, according to the Rap magazine, it's official. Anyone who had hoped that Kraven starring Aaron Taylor Johnson might still be able to turn things around is about to be disappointed. According to current estimates, the film will make even less revenue than Madam Web. The latter was already a huge flop, with box office takings of just $100 million. Meanwhile, Sony is planning to focus more on its collaboration with Disney in the future. The fourth Spider-Man film with Tom Holland, which is part of the MCU, is due to be released in 2026. Sony is also working on other projects that should excite fans of Spider-Man. These include the animated film Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse and the series about Spider-Man Noir, which is currently being produced by Amazon. In the leading role is Nicolas Cage. However, we will have to miss out on the announced Agent Venom project, as this has now been cancelled. Progress is being made on the new adaptation of American Psycho. Now the lead actor has finally been cast, Austin Butler. This news comes from the trade magazine Variety. Butler has made a name for himself in Hollywood in recent years. His appearances in the Elvis movie or in Dune 2 speak for themselves. And we're excited to find out how Butler will interpret the role of serial killer Patrick Bateman. He has some big shoes to fill after all. Christian Bale's portrayal from 2000 is still one of his most famous performances to date. The movie is directed by renowned filmmaker Luca Guadagnino, known for works such as Call Me By Your Name and Challengers with Zendaya. The screenplay is by Scott Z. Burns, who previously wrote The Bourne Ultimatum. The handling of violence in the story is likely to be particularly interesting. Whereas the 2000 film adaptation was more subdued in its brutality compared to the original novel, Guadagnino might go one step further. The director has already proven with his remake of Suspiria that he does not shy away from large-scale acts of violence. Based on initial information, the reinterpretation will deviate from the original story and be set in the present day instead of the 80s. American Psycho tells the story of investment banker Patrick Bateman, whose life is characterized by ideals of beauty, luxury goods, and belonging to the upper class. Behind the facade, however, is a serial killer who primarily preys on young women. A release date for the remake isn't known yet. The next cast for the Harry Potter series is just around the corner. Apparently, the creators have found a candidate for the role of Snape, and that is likely to cause quite a stir. According to a report in The Hollywood Reporter, the role has been offered to I May Destroy You actor Papa Asiedu. He has previously impressed audiences with his performances in productions such as Gangs of London, The Lazarus Project, and Black Mirror. If Asiedu takes on the role, it would be a strong sign of HBO's commitment to diversity in the cast. The Harry Potter films have been criticized in the past for having a predominantly white cast, even though the books did not always specify the skin color of the characters. For many, the character of Severus Snape is undoubtedly associated with Alan Rickman. His portrayal had a long-lasting impact on the character. Asiedu would therefore have to follow in very big footsteps. Previously, a possible cast for the new Dumbledore had already sparked discussions. Oscar winner Mark Rylance is said to be on the verge of being signed for the legendary role. However, rumors about Cillian Murphy as Lord Voldemort have already been denied. Official casting announcements are still pending. Of course, we're most excited about the casting of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. The Harry Potter series is written by Francesca Gardner, who is also an executive producer. Succession director Mike Mylod will direct several episodes, and book author J.K. Rowling is also on board as an executive producer. According to current plans, the series is scheduled to be released sometime in 2027. Back to the End of Times. The series adaptation of Fallout was a complete success. A whopping 16 Emmy nominations and praise from critics and audiences alike made it clear. Naturally, the series will be continued. Filming for Season 2 has now begun. Ghoul actor Walter Goggins recently shared a sneak peek behind the scenes on Instagram. The actor posted a photo of himself in makeup, confirming that production is in full swing. He also added that it felt damn good to slip back into that distinctive skin. In addition to Goggins, there's also rumors about new faces in the cast. For example, Home Alone actor Macaulay Culkin is set to take on one of the main roles, allegedly playing a mad genius. Whether this information turns out to be true remains to be seen. However, the former child star is now known for his interest in rather wacky characters. And of course, the rest of the cast, including Ella Purnell as Lucy and Aaron Moten as Maximus, will also be returning. In an interview, producer Jonathan Nolan revealed that a very special location will be the focus of the second season of Fallout. There's talk of a cityscape that is to be strongly reminiscent of New Vegas from the mutually named game. The possible introduction of the Death Claws has also been discussed. The co-showrunners revealed that they wanted to save such elements for the second season in order to give them the necessary significance and impact. So apparently, we're in for something big. Work on Scream 7 continues to progress, and more names are being confirmed for the horror sequel. Now Celeste O'Connor joins the cast of the slasher. The actress was last seen in Madam Web alongside Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. However, that film turned out to be a disastrous flop and was torn apart by fans and critics alike. However, her performance seems to have made an impression, because according to Deadline, she'll be taking on a previously unknown role in Scream 7. 1883 actress Isabel May has also been confirmed for the film, as Sidney Prescott's daughter. Initial rumors in recent months have already indicated that Scream 7 will focus on Sidney Prescott and her family. Speaking of which, Sidney will of course be played by Neve Campbell once again. The exact plot has been kept strictly under wraps so far. However, with Kevin Williamson as director and screenwriter, fans can look forward to a return to the roots of the series. Williamson was already responsible for the screenplays for Scream, Scream 2, and Scream 4, and shaped the modern slasher film with his mixture of suspense, meta-humor, and clever twists. Scream 7 opens in cinemas on February 27, 2026. News from Wednesday. Next year we can finally look forward to the second season of Tim Burton's popular Netflix series. And now we've got the first picture. The picture shows Wednesday Addams, played by Jenna Ortega, with her arms crossed. A mysterious gate looms in the background. Next to Wednesday are two eerie statues, somewhat reminiscent of the Dementors from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The cast of Wednesday Season 2 really has it all. The main actress Jenna Ortega, Catherine Zeta-Jones as her mother Morticia, and Luis Guzman as her father Gomez are of course back. New additions include Steve Buscemi, Billy Piper, and Christopher Lloyd, who already played Uncle Fester in the first Addams Family film. Also in a previously unknown role, Lady Gaga. Previously, a fan video went viral in which her hit Bloody Mary was mixed with dance footage of Jenna Ortega's Wednesday. There's no precise information about the plot yet. However, it's rumored that Morticia Addams will play a much bigger role in the second season. She's set to take on the position of principal at Nevermore Academy, which could further develop the family dynamic. According to Jenna Ortega, there will also be much more action than before. They want to move away from the love triangle between Wednesday, Xavier, and Taylor and focus more on horror. We are excited.